Hold that tiger, 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 hold that tiger. Da 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 da. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, da 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 da. On the ba ba ba, bidi bidi da 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 da. On the ba ba ba, what a little hey, what a little da da. On the ba ba ba, bidi bidi da 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 bidi da da da. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, da da bidi da da da. On the ba ba ba, bidi bidi da 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 da. On the ba ba ba, what a little hey, what a little da da. On the ba ba ba, bidi bidi da 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 bidi da da da. Running in life, I feel my blue heaven. When will come, running in life, I feel my blue heaven.
flexible in the shape of a yin-yang, I had to have it. The Klipsk personal office unit, the Hovatrek home Exerbike, or the Yohanneshav sofa with the string green stripe pattern. Even the Rizlampa wire lamps of environmentally friendly unbleached paper. I'd flip through catalogs and wonder what kind of dining set
Hold that tiger,
Ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to say a few words to you in this most modern and novel manner. Privileged because it's the first living Vitaphone announcement ever made announcing the coming of one of the year's outstanding pictures. What is the picture? Oh, well, of course. You've guessed that I'm referring to Warner Brothers' supreme triumph, Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer, with May McAvoy and Warner Olin, and a superb cast directed by Alan Crosland. And it was taken from the play written by Samson Raffleson. Now, this picture, with Vitaphone accompaniment, and Al Jolson singing many of his songs in his own inimitable manner, is a big hit in New York, to such an extent that Warner Brothers Theater in New York City, where the Jazz Singer is now playing, is sold out for many weeks in advance. Now, I'm going to show you how they were trying to get in to see the opening performance of the Jazz Singer in New York City.
America runs on Bulliva time.
To 60 years ago, people were introduced to peanut butter for the first time. They looked it over carefully. The daring and courageous bought it. Well, children loved it. But Ma and Pa were more critical. They discovered it had several drawbacks. It became oily and sticky and didn't stay fresh very long. It was rather hard to digest. It didn't taste like peanuts. Grown-ups never became peanut butter fans until 1933, when a new kind of peanut butter started to appear in grocery stores. It looked different. It smelled different. It tasted different. It had practically nothing in common with the old-style product.
We admire wieners, Oscar Mayer wieners. They are so plump and tender, too.
It's Oscar Mayer for me and you.
Wieners, Oscar Mayer wieners, the best you ever put in buns.
'Cause they're the juicy, all-meat ones.
Man, they taste just dandy, and they're oh so handy. They're fully cooked, just heat and eat.
And eat and eat.
Hey, if you've been wishing, say, for great nutrition, you get the protein you require.
From wieners made by Oscar Mayer.
CBS presents this program in color. Very special program is brought to you in lively black and white on NBC.
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
A big parade is so inspiring.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I never want to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, there would soon be nothing left of me. Oh, I love to be an
Oscar Mayer wieners are all meat, all good meat. Rich and complete meat protein, mildly seasoned to bring out all the good meat flavor.
Everyone would be in love with me.
Next week, you handle just the refreshments, Freddie.
Every bursted bubble has a glory.
Each abysmal failure makes a point.
Every glowing path that goes astray shows you how to find a better way.
So every time you stumble, never grumble.
Next time you bumble even less.
For up from the ashes, grow the roses of success.
Well, I began as a graphic designer. As part of my work, I created many film symbols for ad campaigns. During that period, I happened to be working on the symbols for Carmen Jones and Man with the Golden Arm for Otto Preminger. And at one point in our work, Otto and I just looked at each other and said, why not make it move? The audience involvement with a film should really begin with the very first frame. You have to remember that until then, titles had tended to be lists of dull credits, mostly ignored or used for popcorn time. So there seemed to be a real opportunity to use titles in a new way, to actually create a climate for the story that was about to unfold. The film was about drug addiction, and the symbol, that is the arm, in its jagged form, expressed the jarring, disjointed existence of the drug addict. Now, to the extent that it was an accurate and telling synthesis of the film and the ad campaign, these same qualities came with it into the theater. And of course, with the addition of motion and sound, it really came alive and set up the mood and the texture of the film.
work of the last giant in the world of film title design. But before we move on, we should at least acknowledge the work of a handful of other brilliant innovators in this field. ... One of Saul Bass's contemporaries was Maurice Binder, the graphic designer who conceived the abstract, erotic imagery of James Bond's opening credits, which, after Dr. No, were taken up by Robert Brownjohn. We can't forget the team behind the Patifree Lang Enterprises that created the amazing intros for the Pink Panther series since 1963. There's Dan Perry, known for several collaborations with Martin Scorsese. But Perry's top credit is, without a doubt, this one. This is an example of Terry Gilliam's outrageous cutout animations. There's Richard Greenberg, of whom Saul Bass said, quote, "He's the only guy around whose work I wish I had done." There's also Robert Dawson, Randall Balsmeyer, Richard Williams, and more recently Karen Fong, Jeremy Cox, and Aaron Sarofsky. One by one, all these artists stood on the shoulders of giants, and the last of them is Kyle Cooper. Cooper's the main title designer of several big screen creature features. He not only worked on Godzilla vs. Kong, but also on Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of Monsters, 2014's Godzilla, and my personal favorite, the Japanese Godzilla Final Wars. If you add Pacific Rim Uprising, you'll have Cooper's entire body of work. When it comes to monster movies, that is, because those 6 titles account for less than 3% of his 300-strong filmography. But before becoming the go-to guy for film design in Hollywood, Cooper started small and weird. He's credited as the title designer on this 1988 comedy, which is almost impossible to find. But if you find it, please watch it.
Nobody leaves until the funeral is over.
Cooper went from Peter Wang's Laserman to designing the titles for Scorsese's Life Lessons, and he was off to the races. He worked on Body Parts, Body Snatchers, Curly Sue, Passenger 57, Indecent Proposal, Richie Rich, True Lies, The American President, Dead Presidents, and Braveheart. Freedom! Though there were some absolute gems in the mix, for the most part he was a nameless figure in the background. But that all changed in 1995. This opening sequence was named by the New York Times as one of the most important innovations of the 1990s. If Saul Bass brought modernist design to the movies, Pablo Ferro sped it up to the limit of human comprehension. Now Kyle Cooper brought a new sensibility into the language of cinema, a taste for subtly deranged typographic details over large-scale special effects.